Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and I'm hoping that this will look a little bit better. I positioned my phone mount higher so that hopefully more of my tray will be seen. Again, I will be looking at my tablet screen to my right to read the chat. So what I got is the second meal of this 2023 pack First Strike ration. And this is menu 9. So I have everything in this bag that I will be opening up tonight. And the first thing that I'm actually going to start off with, I'm actually going to go ahead and do the dairy shake. I've already shaken the powder down to the bottom of the bag, and I will mix it in here. Simply because that's the best way to mix these. Actually, I'll go ahead and close that first. Get that bottle out of the way. I put this clip on it just to make sure that it stays closed even though I have it sealed and folded. I'm going to let that sit. And then I will shake it again later. I just wanted to get that one started. This is the soup slash spread. And that will go into this bowl. And this is the raspberry drink that normally you would put into a larger standard water bottle. But because I like these a little strong anyway, it's going into the drinking jar. Got Multi-Magnum in the house. Thanks for dropping in. B Win and Giga Chad, two names I had not seen in here before. Thank you for dropping by. I do these reviews every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. So I got that mixed up. Again, this ration did not have a hot drink option, so I have a tea bag with some sugar in my delicious mug. I'm going to put the shake in here. This is one of the two mugs that I got from Mike Crusher. This had some other goodies in it, so I'm going to use that for the shake, so that's just kind of sitting there. This only calls for 3 ounces of water, but that would be a very thick soup, considering there's a lot of paste in here. I'm kneading the packet just to make it easier to squeeze out. It looks like the color of American cheese. It has artificial bacon bits like Bacos. On its own, when you eat this straight up, this is very, very salty. I'm not going to get every last bit of the fake bacon out of here, but you know, it is what it is. It is also quite grainy or mealy. Carlos Perry and Burger Butt have come in. Yeah, it may look a bit sideways to you because I have changed the angle of my phone, so it's not. Yeah, so this shows more of the tray. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm going to get my kettle on and I'll be right back. I'm going to pour the water in my mug first. That way the tea can start steeping. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of my way. Again, the other item that would have been an entree is being skipped because it is a pork sausage sandwich. I do not eat pork. So like Jews, Muslims do not eat pork, and I am a Muslim. But these fake bacon bits are what's known as TVP, or textured vegetable protein. There's Robert in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Again, this is 2023 pack First Strike Menu 9. I'm just going to keep that card separate while I get everything else out of here. Now, I am putting all of the trash back in here since I will be disposing of this bag later on. Barbecue corn nuggets. Now the tear notch is way down here, which is stupid. So I'm going to cut a notch higher than that. That is the barbecue corn nuggets. They are not the corn nuts. They are the lighter textured, lighter weight version. This will serve as my dessert, the cinnamon bun. Oxygen absorber just stuck to the bottom. I'm going to set that on top of my tea mug. This is a teriyaki beef stick. These are always double packed. So it has this kind of a label on it. I had to cut that one open. I'm going to put that right there. And we got the crackers here. See if I can get a hiss out of it. There we go. Almost stuck to the inside of the wrapping. Very little breakage, just a couple of crumbs fell off of there. Well, actually, a little bit of breakage, not too bad. Viper's in the house, thanks for dropping in. This is 2023 pack, First Strike Menu 9, Meal 2. Again, the Italian sausage sandwich is being skipped because it is a pork sausage and I do not eat pork. I have not opened the dairy shake yet. I decided I like to let these sit and then shake it again. And we'll see how well this one did. I tend to mix these a little thinner. And there's usually a tiny bit of residue left in there, so I might put another splash of water in the bag. And that is what the dairy shake looks like. I'll move the cinnamon bun over here. I'm a tea bag squeezer. Now because I made this into a soup, which I'll give another stir, I can still hear a bit of the grainier ingredients as I stir it in the bowl. If I were to eat the other sandwich, I would have used this as a spread, but that stuff is so salty that I decided to dig into my stash. And I got the peanut butter and the blackberry jam that came out of the Canadian IMP that had the cornbread in it. Spicy tuna rolls and Cliff have dropped in. This is meal 2, 2023 First Strike Menu 9. Now that Italian pork sausage sandwich will go to someone else. I'm just not sure how that will happen yet. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat on my Kindle, which is to my right. So let's see how this tastes as a soup on its own before I do anything with it. As much, I probably put in a little too much water, but then it doesn't taste so salty. And you can see the little red bits are the fake bacon. Of course, like any soup, you got to have something a little crunchy. But I'll try a few of these corn nuggets on their own first. These are the barbecue ones. They taste fresh. They got that salty, kind of smoky barbecue flavor. I can throw a few of these in here. They're like a crouton. And I could also drop some cracker bits in here too. See how this tastes with one of these in it. That barbecue flavor cuts through that cheese. A fair amount, but I don't mind. But it also brings back that little bit of salt flavor back. You would not get that with the crackers. I'm going through the chat to see if I missed anybody. It doesn't look like. I've seen Matt's name mentioned. I got more stuff from Matt of This and That with Matt in my stash of stuff. And this is that teriyaki beef stick. It looks more like a super fat Slim Jim. Personally, I think these are mislabeled. This is not teriyaki flavor. It's more like just a smoked beef stick. I'm not getting that characteristic teriyaki sweetness. And I would expect it to be just a little bit darker. Gonna have another bite of this soup with these corn nuggets in it. Those will get softer as it sits. But this beef stick is not bad. It's just not teriyaki flavored. Now some of these crackers are gonna fall apart big time. I like that peanut butter with that blackberry jam. That's a good combo. Well, Dave, that's actually a good thing to do. You know, it is getting colder. We've had rain a lot yesterday and Friday. And I did a weather check before I went live, and we're getting some drizzle. Not a huge amount, but we got a fair amount of rain over. Sorry, I couldn't hold that sneeze back. And I'm not going to try to mute my phone with it up so high just to cover a sneeze. I keep it real. But there are a lot of YouTubers who are in the affected areas where the hurricanes hit. Even if they had some damage to their own properties, they gave out supplies to those who were even worse off. Some would lend power stations if they have several of them. Some gave out, some of their long-term storage food, or rations if they had any rations that they had a good supply of. It would hand them out. It'd hand out cleaning and hygiene supplies, or just help clear debris. They're doing stuff like that. So that's very awesome that you have been able to do some of that in your area. Yeah, that is a perfect place to find things like that. I found an older version 3/4 length Thermarest self-inflating sleeping pad at St. Vincent de Paul's store here in Des Moines. It did not come with a bag, but I have a dry bag that it fits perfectly in when it's rolled up. So I don't use it as much as I do my climate sleeping pad, which is full length, but if I do have it, or if I do need it, then I have it. And plus, because it is 3/4 length, if I took it somewhere and a child needed to sleep on it, then that would be the perfect length for a child to sleep on. Just squirting a little bit more of the peanut butter and the jam on my cracker. Now this is that raspberry drink. Again, I like to mix these a bit strong. That way I get a fuller flavor of it. And if I need to, I can still throw a dribble of water in there. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize I had said anything inappropriate. I'm not a cusser. I'm going to give this a bit of a stir because sometimes you still have to do that with these. See how this tastes. I haven't mixed up one of these in a while. That's actually not too bad. I bet if someone wanted to, they could mix just a tiny bit of water and turn it into a pudding. Instead of drinking it as a shake. Oh, Viper, that would be totally out of my personality. Gonna have another piece of cracker with the Canadian peanut butter and jam that are actually made in U.S. and then sent north of the border. These crackers definitely need something since on their own they have no flavor. I do have some thinner bits that I will just I'm going to throw them into the soup just for the heck of it. Because why not? Here's a piece of cracker with one of the corn nuggets. These crackers are so soft that they soften up almost immediately. The corn nuggets that I put in there are still holding their crunch for the most part. I'm going to take a drink of my tea. This is the same tea I made last week. I just wanted an excuse to bring my delicious mug out. So I'm going to eat a few of these corn nuggets after taking a bite of that beef stick. One doesn't really enhance the other, it's just there. There is Mike Kreischer in the house. This is meal 2 from this 2023 FSR Menu 9. I put some of these barbecued corn nuggets into here. This is that cheddar potato fake bacon spread / soup mix, so I made it into a soup. Then I put some cracker bits in here as well. That red speck is one of the fake bacon bits. Here, got the vanilla dairy shake. And you might recognize this mug. This is that raspberry sugar-free drink mix in my drinking jar. Got the cinnamon bun here. And I'll go ahead and now that looks like a very thin layer of filling in there and a whole lot of bread. It does look like, when you look at it, some bits of flavor seep through to the outside. Definitely light on the filling, but that cinnamon is definitely there. I can pick that up. I do like that. But I've had these before, they had more filling in them. Yeah, because I made a soup out of that cheddar potato spread / soup, I got my Canadian peanut butter and blackberry jam out for the cracker. Again, this teriyaki beef stick doesn't have that teriyaki flavor, so I think it got mislabeled. Or whoever does this just doesn't know what a teriyaki beef stick is supposed to taste like. A few days ago, it was almost warm enough where some people around here would have turned their air conditioners back on. I came very close to doing that, but then I knew it was going to get colder, so I didn't. I still have my tower fan running in my bedroom. I got the window cracked. And I have my little USB fan running off to the side. My ceiling fan got messed up from the spring flood that was caused from someone above me, so that one will never work again. And apparently, as long as the lights work, they're not going to replace it. Even if I offer to pay for it myself and just have their electrician install it. What they would replace it with will be a light fixture with no fan. That's what happened to all the apartments that got remodeled in 2020 and 21. So as the unit emptied out, they remodeled it and just put that type of a light fixture like the one that got put into my kitchen after the last one, the original one, crapped out. For modesty reasons, I don't wear shorts even in the summer. I'm fully covered all the time. I'm just going to have another handful of these corn nuggets. I do like these. They are best when they're fresh. When they get older, then they start getting funky. Unlike the corn nuts, which are whole corn kernels, they hold up better. There are some people up here in Des Moines who wear shorts in winter. It must be how their bodies perceive temperature, or they overheat so easily that it's their way of regulating their body heat. And just like some people will wear flip-flops, except when there's deep snow. I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. I won't do that. But speaking of weather, I have friends who are in Oklahoma. I'll just say in the Oklahoma City area. I have not seen any of them post on Facebook yet, so I have no idea how things are going for them down there. So I'm guessing either they lost power or they lost internet. I don't know if they evacuated or they are simply staying put, depending on whether or not they had damage in their area. Again, I have no idea. Yeah, I was looking at that gumbo earlier. That did look like it would have been a good one. That shake still has a bit of froth to it, even though it's been sitting for a while. Yeah, no doubt that would be something that they're not used to. Sorry, I turned my volume down on my tablet, but that's only my media volume. That's not my other noises. I just didn't bother. So, excuse those little pings. And speaking of packages, I have a few other items that are pork based. What I may do with some of my other loose stuff, I may put together a package, like a custom ration, and then send that off to someone. I did 2 of these for a couple of other reviewers. I sent one to G. Schultz. Or no, not G. Schultz. Would have been nice to send one to him, but see, I sent one to Old Smoky. Oh, ouch, Viper. Yeah, that's a pain in the dupa. Yeah, Gundog. I sent the other one to Gundog. And they both opened them up and reviewed them. So I will do that again. I would very much like to try the chicken gumbo. That did look very good. I also watched Readiness Rations, which is the companion channel to Readiness Reviews. And he opened up a German ration that was a few years old when they were still doing it in boxes. Now they're in bags. I've talked about in the past how I tried to buy one on eBay, but payments from the US were not accepted no matter what. So I just couldn't buy that ration, and I'm really bummed about that. It was a halal marked one too. I spent a few years in Arkansas in the mid 80s. In fact, my parents got work done in Arkansas a month and a half before I finished high school, but I decided that it was just better for me to stay up here in Iowa instead of going down there for a month and a half and possibly get held back because of credit mismatch. And we just didn't want to go through that hassle, so I stayed up here and finished high school. And then my parents came up for my graduation, and then I just went down with them. I took another bite of the cinnamon bun. When these are heated, just like when you heat up the maple muffin top, oh boy, those are good. Chosuk is here. Thanks for dropping in. Meal 2 from this 2023 pack First Strike Menu 9. Again, the Italian sausage sandwich is a pork sausage, so I'm not eating that. I mixed up that cheese potato spread thing as a soup. I put some of these corn nuggets in there, and plus there are some cracker bits. So for the cracker, I have the Canadian peanut butter and blackberry jam from that IMP that I reviewed that had the cornbread. And that cornbread was a whole lot different than American cornbread. It's a lot softer. It felt and tasted like it was a bit underbaked. And I just didn't see any way of trying to put the peanut butter and the jam on it, so I didn't. So I decided that I would bring them out tonight. This is the vanilla dairy shake, which came in this ration. This steel mug is making its first appearance on camera. I got the raspberry sugar-free drink mix in the drinking jar, which I always mix strong because I feel like I get a fuller flavor of the drink. These are the barbecue corn nuggets, not the corn nuts, because they're not whole kernel corn. And my delicious mug just has the same tea as I had last week, simply because I wanted to bring the mug out and use it. So making the soup, it wanted like 3 ounces of water. That would have been super thick, so I made it thinner. It drastically cuts down on the saltiness because straight up, as it is coming out of the packet, like the regular cheese spread, it's super salty. A little too salty for my liking. And it's very grainy. Yeah, my brother spent a lot more time in Arkansas. He didn't come back to Iowa until just a couple of years ago, so he developed a bit of an accent. But if he stays here long enough, that might fade. Because I didn't stay in Arkansas long enough myself. I came back here to Iowa after I finished college down there. Yeah, I missed Iowa, so I came back. I think I'm going to throw a few more of these corn nuggets in there. Just kind of liven it up a bit. But that's what I did. It was while I was down in Arkansas that I got a chance to spend a month in Mexico. So that was an awesome experience. But that was way back in '86 when things were a whole lot different down there than they are now. I would not go back there for any reason. It's just too crazy down there. If I had to cross the border, I would go up into Canada. That Cajun snack mix, I actually like that Cajun snack mix. And my tablet just went off of my stream. I don't know what's up with that, so I'm getting that back on. Why I did that, I don't know. Yeah, I would like to go up there as well. I like to go up there and fish. My late dad had buddies who used to go up into Canada, like north of Minnesota, around the Boundary Waters area. They might go a little bit farther north, and they would fish for walleye and pike and muskie. My dad never went, but he got to hear all the fish stories that his buddies told. Yeah, I think that has changed. I know when I was in Mexico, I was 20 at the time. And at 18, you could drink beer and wine. And you had to be 21 in order to drink the hard stuff. But I'm pretty sure that has changed a lot since then. the restaurants, like the sit-down restaurants, would put a complimentary shot of tequila in front of any men who are at the table, but none for the women. If a woman wanted the tequila, she would have to ask for it. I don't know if it was a bias thing back then, but that's just how it was when our group was down there. I didn't eat at too many restaurants where I was down there. Most of my meals were eaten actually in the house that I stayed in. Yeah, speaking of CT, he was actually in Smokey's last stream, and then he's popped in on the Discord, but I can't access the Discord because the phone that I have it on has chosen to act up, and I'm waiting on a replacement. And that's my backup. I don't do calls on it, but I could do an emergency call. But it would be my backup stream phone if for some reason I had to stop using my Rebel 5G. But I ordered a replacement for that. I will keep that one. Just like I have kept the other phones that I upgraded from. You know, they're backups. So even without cell service, you could make an emergency call. In fact, at one time I did. I had my other phone, my main phone was charging. And so I used the Samsung Galaxy S5 that I used to stream on until I got this Rebel 5G. And the phone that preceded this one. But I made a 911 call on that Galaxy S5 and it still worked. Yeah, I use Facebook. I'm in quite a number of groups. Some post in Spanish, so I am in them. But my family uses it. You know, we have relatives and friends who are in other states. And that's how we communicate with them. And my mom uses it a whole lot more. You know, she's deaf. She wears hearing aids. And even with them, sometimes it can be hard for her to do phone calls. So by communicating on Facebook or text message, that's pretty much what she does. Again, I'm waiting to see anything from our family friends who are in Oklahoma to see how they fared during this recent round of storms that they had. I watched a short video a little while ago while I was setting up, and this YouTuber is in another part of Oklahoma, and they were getting heavy rain. The yard was developing puddles, and she was talking about how people in the area had lost power. And then I had seen on Facebook aerial shots of some of the devastated urban neighborhoods that got shredded up pretty good. Yeah, all the social medias can be a double-edged sword. It depends on how you use them. You bypass all the crap and you stick to what you like about it. And that's what I do. Anything that I consider useless crap, I just bypass it. And speaking of useless crap, I noticed that on X, which is formerly Twitter, I'm getting a lot less tweets or posts about pictures that I would consider completely vulgar. I've tried reporting them, but they don't get taken down, so I just end up blocking them. And I think the more that I block, the fewer of those posts show up in my feed. I'll still get them once in a while, but not as many. But I'll just continue to block them because I don't need to see that. I don't go that way. Oh, apparently Mike laid some eggs. He must be a pretty good chicken. Yeah, I did say that while he went away to go put those eggs away. Had another drink of the dairy shake. Oh, that's laying a lot of eggs. Somebody was one busy chicken. Well, that's what I like about this, because we can have each other's back. And if the least we can do is moral support. When DeCarlos had all of his medical issues, we were right there letting him know that we had him in our thoughts. And we would do that again. Yep. Yeah, if the chickens are laying in a clean place and you don't have much to worry about with those eggs. I watch Laura of Hedgehog's Homestead when she goes to collect the eggs from her chickens, and sometimes a duck. When the ducks might lay an egg, sometimes she gets an egg from her heritage breed turkey. If those eggs are clean, they go into the house. If they're dirty, they go to the pigs. As an extra treat for them. But like I said, as long as the egg is laid in a clean place, you shouldn't have much to worry about storing it for long term. And especially if you water glass them. There are lots of videos on how to water glass unwashed eggs. No, the commercial ones are not, because those birds do not get to move. And speaking of, we had a couple of them get completely emptied out of all of their birds because the company that was literally the owner of those chickens, the farmers just raised them and collected the eggs for the company. That company went belly up and no other buyer would take them, so all those chickens just got, I'll just say, cold. I don't know if they were processed for meat or what happened to them. I never heard anything or seen anything about that. But that put those particular farmers in some serious trouble. Eggs around here are still around $3 to $4 a dozen. They have not gone back down to the price that they used to be before things went haywire. I'm squirting the rest of the peanut butter out. Not much left of that jam. I think I got shorted. Oh well. Wow, that things are a little more expensive up there in Alaska. I just watched some of the Alaska YouTubers up there who show what they buy and how much it costs. Yeah, it's just nuts the way things are. That's something that is definitely not on my culinary radar. There are only a small number of black bears here in Iowa, and they stick mainly to the most northern counties. But they may be moving down from Minnesota. That's probably where they're coming in from. Oh, DeCarlos, if you look on eBay, you can actually find canned horse meat and some of the rations, like from Kazakhstan. They will put horse meat in some of their rations. That is something I would probably not go for, but then that's just me. Just putting a few more bits in the soup. Just because I feel like it. I would be interested in trying camel meat because that is something that, although it's not obviously a Polish culinary culture, I would be interested in actually trying it. And several years ago, I got a single serve packet of powdered camel milk. I mixed it up, but I think I did it wrong because it stayed fairly lumpy. So if I ever do that again, I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'll mix it up with warm water and then chill it before I drink it. I have had squirrel too many years ago when my step grandpa was alive. He would hunt squirrels, and that would supply part of the meat that they ate. Yeah, he would skin it and clean it, and then my maternal grandmother would further cut it up and make a squirrel stew. And that's how we ate it the few times that we did eat it when we were over there for visits. Yeah, we used to eat a lot of pheasant because my dad would hunt it. He would bring pheasants. He he got turkeys, deer. I think my step grandpa actually got the rabbit that we ate another time. My dad never hunted rabbits. He was more into pheasants, turkeys, and deer. I have had elk burgers. I've had bison burgers. I have had elk meat sticks, like a thinner version of that meat stick that I ate tonight. And I've had ostrich the one time, and that was in that 2015 RCIR. They had the ostrich with the cranberries. That is still my favorite ration to this day. Yeah, I don't think I could do that long fermented shark. I think that would be, I would draw the line there. Octopus and squid, oh heck yeah. If it's properly cooked, they can be very good. If they're not properly cooked, then they're not enjoyable. Again, rabbit and squirrel. You need to have a little fat with them. Probably not so much if you put it into a stew, but if you just fry it, you might want to use some kind of a fat. I would use tallow to fry it in. Others would use lard. I would also use ghee. I do have several jars of ghee here. Shadow Scout Swede, thanks for dropping in. It is Monday morning there. I ate the teriyaki beef stick, which did not taste like teriyaki. It tasted just like a smoked beef stick, closer to your average Slim Jim, just fatter. These are the barbecue corn nuggets. I put some of them and some cracker bits in this. It's potato cheddar cheese soup slash spread with fake bacon bits, and I chose to make it into a soup. I added more water than what the packet called for, because otherwise it would be super thick. It'd almost be like pudding consistency, so I wanted it a little thinner. The red bits that you see there are the fake bacon bits. In the US, there's a brand called Bacos, and then stores will have their own internal branded version. I put some, like I said, these barbecue corn nuggets and some of the crumbs I put in there. This is a vanilla dairy shake. That was, then here I got a raspberry flavored sugar-free drink mix. This is a cinnamon bun, not much of the filling in there, although the cinnamon flavor is very strong in it, which I do like. Again, this ration did not come with a hot drink option, so I just made myself a cup of tea. At the squid in the Spanish rations has the squid ink included in the broth that it's put in. So you will get that dark purple, almost black color when you look at it. That one is not too bad. You know, considering it's been made shelf stable. I just realized my this thing wants to tip because of the way this foam mount is. I'm trying to readjust it there. I can see the delay when I look from my tray to my tablet screen. But again, I'm trying to play with position here. There is my Iowa brother Tim in the house. This is the second meal from this menu 9. Straight up out of the packet, this potato cheese fake bacon as a spread is very salty. It's very gritty, but making it as a soup, that cuts down on that. Throwing the corn nuggets in. These are barbecue corn nuggets. And some cracker bits in there. That definitely helps. I'm just going to throw the last few bits I got in here. Of course, you also water down the flavor when you do that too, but this puts a little flavor back into it, and it brings the salt back up a little bit. But even that's nowhere near as salty as when you eat it straight up. And the sandwich that came in this ration has a pork sausage. So I skipped that. Someone else will get that. Yeah, yes, some of these could definitely tone down the salt. That's why I never add any of the salt to any of these. Plus, I want to save all those salt packets anyway. And if I get pepper packets or other seasoning packets in a ration, I save those too. The packets from some of the civilian rations that I've had have gone camping with me. I keep a seasoning bag inside of my camping food bag all the time. And so as I use any of that, I just replenish it from my supply. Well, I've taken those like hamburger helpers, tuna helpers, chicken helpers. I would put a different meat in them. I might use ground turkey. I might use chunk chicken and a tuna helper. I might use ground turkey and a hamburger helper, but I don't get a whole lot of those things anymore. I just pretty much just make something up as I go. You know, I keep a few of those things around. Like I have the Bear Creek soups, but I don't eat a whole lot of those. I have tried most of the flavors and then I just replace them as I use them. I usually like to just take a meat, maybe some pasta or rice, throw some other seasonings in it, maybe some veggies, like canned veggies. I just make myself a one pot meal and call it good. I didn't think papillons were that big, but I guess some can be. They are definitely a unique looking dog. But they're as cute as heck. Oh, yeah, I got all those things that I gotta repack. But I don't know if I want to just try to fill up jars since I don't have any more buckets to spare. Or if I just get some buckets at least for the rice and the beans and then just put the pasta in the jars. I may go that route. You know, that way I don't have to bother with a pointy end of a noodle poking through the bag. That's probably what I'll end up doing is just putting the pasta in the jars and then getting a couple of buckets, one to put rice in and one to put beans and lentils in. I think someone is probably grinning with those words. Yeah, I would know about that. I'm not Chinese, I'm a Polska. Of course, yeah, Chinese make a lot of the holiday stuff that gets used over here. Yep, that is true. And there are some that are very, very good products to have that come from there. And that's where my Olites come from. But I do like my Olites. Yeah, a lot of it is crap. But then there can be some stuff that's made here that is absolute crap. You just have to look hard for the good stuff and decide whether or not you can afford it. I'm finishing off the soup. Yeah, some Japanese made items, which I had very few of. Yeah, especially some of the small makers, like Japanese blades, like some of the folding saws and knives and other things like that. Some of the swords and those are highly sought after. And speaking of folding saws, on one camping trip with some other Iowa YouTubers, we were collecting firewood. And although I had my own folding saw, which is the Ozark Trail one, that doesn't cut all that well. I mean, it works, but It takes more effort, but I borrowed Tack's Silky Pocket Boy, and that thing just worked like a dream. I need to get me one of those. The Silky Pocket Boy, they come in two different lengths, but they make short work of whatever wood you're cutting through. So I go back to using my Ozark trail folding saw. Big difference. Well, you never know. I mean, it makes you wonder how some of these people do it, getting some of the things that they get in. I've seen some videos on those Japanese rations that look more like a survival ration, which are mostly biscuits, maybe some pieces of candy, and some dried fruit or nuts, and some kind of an energy gel. Is that the one? I've seen a few videos on those lately. Wow, that is a lot less than what I paid for the last few Spanish rations I got. And one of them, I ordered a Spanish breakfast ration along with that halal B2, but they substituted a Norwegian breakfast ration. And I was not told about that substitution. I wanted the Spanish ration for the coffee and the biscuits. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And the last video of, or the latest video of one of the Japanese, I, I'm guessing it's like a special forces survival ration that is mostly biscuits. Other videos, other YouTubers had a little piece of some kind of a dried meat that was vacuum packed. Where this guy, when he said when he got it from Japan, it had been opened by customs and raided and then taped back shut. So he was missing the beef, the dried beef packet that was originally in there. Yeah, that's the same video that I watched. He said that he may open them to look at them, but he won't he won't sample them anymore. Of course, he said that the Japanese one that he opened was past its best buy date. I still would have sampled them. But, that's what this guy who we lost a few years ago over in England, his name was Polly. His eyesight was getting bad, so it was harder for him to see things, and his health was declining, so he stopped doing rations and just stuck with doing his model assemblies, train models, and replica packaging of K rations. But he used to say that whenever his mail carrier came, if there was something out of a ration that he did not eat, he would give it to the mailman. Yeah, especially if it's freeze dried. You know, when you're going at such a high temperature and pressure, you're sterilizing. You're killing anything that would be in there. Freeze drying, you're vacuum packing it, taking out the oxygen. I don't know what the deal is. Personally, I think they just want to snack off of us. I took a drink of that shake right after eating a bite of that cinnamon bun, and it almost overpowered the cinnamon flavor. Yeah, it, I used to enjoy that, but you know, make so many mistakes, not doing certain, not doing things the way that the others do. Uh, the newer people who are getting into it definitely do a better job. He'll stick to doing his other stuff. which I don't have much interest in. Thanks for dropping in, Mike. Yeah, I watched Germ's Amory earlier today. He opened up French Ration. He liked most of it. There are some things that he didn't like quite as much. But he was still impressed with that French Ration that he opened up. You take as much time as you need to recover. Even if you skip another week, if that helps you recover and so you feel better, I would be okay with that, and so would everybody else. Yeah, Smokey had been dealing with some health issues, so has his son, but he was feeling pretty good enough to do a stream last Saturday. Now, last night he was not on. So there must have been some stuff going on that he had to deal with. Oh, nice. Of course, it probably wouldn't hurt to wait a little bit longer after you pass 400 just in case, for some unknown reasons, that number might dip. I've seen that happen with mine, and that happens to all of us at some point when we get close to a target that we want to hit. Right now, I'm just kind of letting things go on their own without trying to say I'm going to go for this by a certain amount of time. You know, when it happens, it happens. Not in the past few days, no. I don't know if there's something going on up there in her area. I don't know if it's weather or if it's a school thing. Uh, Something going on with any of the kids? Yeah, she did like last week when I posted in a messenger chat that I would be opening up this ration. But since she never came into the chat, I'm assuming that there was something going on that took priority. You know, when you're a mom, stuff happens. Well, that shake did mix up pretty well. I guess shaking it, then letting it sit, then shaking it, then letting it sit. And of course, I added another splash of water to the pouch to try to get a little bit more out of there. And speaking of shakes, I tried to look up my strawberry dairy shake from that transitional Emery menu where I could not eat the entree because the pouch delaminated while it was in the boiling water. I could not find whether or not for sure that one was in the recall lot. Of course, that one was in that huge pouch that you could probably put 2 more servings of that powder in and still have room left in the bag. Yeah, that one does not have a zip seal where you'd have to fold it over and hold it tight to make sure that you didn't have any leaks when shaking it. So I'm holding on to that. I posted that in one of the ration groups on Facebook. You know, a close-up of the date code. You know, I'm uncertain whether that one was actually in the recall lot because I couldn't find it on Emery Info. That particular menu. So I have no idea. So I don't want to take a chance in opening that one and tasting it. Out of all the rations that I've had, I think it has to be the 2015 RCIR that had the ostrich with cranberries. It's one of the mains. I think the other one was the tuna salad. You know, tuna with pasta and vegetables. But that ostrich, I had never had ostrich in any form. But I'll tell you, that one was an absolute stunner to me. I think I got that one in 2018, either late 17 or early 2018. And that was when foreign MRE were selling foreign rations without any issues. And still things started getting crazy. And I got that one because that one seemed very interesting. So that one has to be my favorite out of all the rations that I've had. Yeah, I'll keep that dairy shake pouch as is just because it could be in that recall lot, and even if it wasn't, it's very close to that time period. It's just something unique in ration history. I have had other strawberry dairy shakes, and they were pretty good. But this particular one, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, we got a lot of crap going on around here with a lot of sick kids catching, they call it walking pneumonia. I'm sure most of you have heard of it or even had it. I did when I was a teen. I missed 3 weeks of school because of it, and because I missed my one of my favorite classes. Yeah, that upset me quite a bit because I missed 3 weeks of Spanish class, but I made that up in a quick hurry. Absolutely. Especially the Sessagen from Australia. That one is the worst. And the last CR1M that I opened up had a different version of it. It was not branded. It wasn't Sessagen, but it was a tiny bit better, but still, I'll take one of these over that. Now, some people would take their instant coffee and mix it with the shake powder. I've never tried that. That would be something interesting to do. But some people like doing that, and that apparently cuts through the odd flavor. Yeah, that's what those packets actually said on them, that they are that brand is used in Australian hospitals, probably New Zealand as well. But yeah, yeah, my high school dropped third year Spanish at the end of my junior year, and I was not happy. So I was told that maybe I should go to the junior high school and try French. So I did that, but it kept coming out like Spanish. And I've told you this story before about when the teacher told the class, go up to everybody else and say, Quel âge a-t-il? Which means, how old are you? And I'm thinking I'm going to say 14, but 17 came out. And because I let the truth out, I had to explain myself why a 17-year-old was in with a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds. There is Curtis in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I don't have much left of this. This First Strike. This is the new packaging of First Strike rations. This was packed in 2023. I made 2 meals out of this instead of splitting it into 3. So last week I ate this chicken breast, and I got a cheese spread for my stash, and I put some of the chicken on the tortilla. But this Italian style sandwich, when I looked at the ingredients on the packet, it says pork is part of the sausage, so I decided that someone else will get that since I don't eat pork, me being a Muslim. So I took the cheddar potato spread slash soup with fake bacon bits, aka Bacos, and I made that into the soup, and that's why the bowl. Oh wow, that is absolutely awesome. Gonna raise my tea mug to that. Gotta love good news like that when you can give that nastiness the shove off. So continuing to heal, that is awesome. My one sister who had the foot surgery last November after Thanksgiving, she has to have that redone because the original donor graft did not take, and some other parts did not heal like they were supposed to. So on December 6th, she's going to have that redone, and this time they're going to take all graft tissues from her own body, so they will be living tissue instead of already dead, and hopefully that should work a whole lot better. It could be possible that her body rejected the graft. Who knows? I don't know. But they're going to do a couple other things just to make sure that her foot heals up better. And if everything goes well, then she may even be able to go back to work. It'll take a whole lot of time to heal up. Go back to physical therapy. She won't be able to drive for a few months. You know, she can't put weight on it for a few months, but because she already has the walker that she used before, she'll go back to using that. My sisters and my brother will take care of her other needs. While she heals up. Well, there you go, Dave. You got yourself another one. Yeah, ask Joe of Garden State Gardener on Grow Big TV It took him almost a year to recover from his Achilles tendon surgery after he ripped that. And now is right in the middle of the growing season where he could not take care of his garden, which he absolutely loves working in the garden. But this year he was able to get back at it. But it was a long recovery for him. Yeah, there's got to be something you can do to kind of help that out. What that is, I have no clue. But there could be something in the natural medicine world that could do something. Yeah, my mom's doctor told her to increase her calcium and vitamin D intake since she doesn't get enough from food. She's not much of a milk drinker, but she had been eating yogurts, but because of something in some of the yogurts that was bothering her, not the probiotics, but something else, she cut out the yogurts that she really, there's a certain brand of yogurt that she really liked. So now she gets very little dairy. So she has to take calcium and vitamin D supplements to make sure she's got enough calcium. Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, my one friend who has been fighting cancer for a number of years, she had such a hard time with the chemo that there are some days where she just wouldn't get out of bed. Yeah, her kids and her husband and others would have to step up. But she has her bad days once in a while. But not too many of them now. She's still doing treatments, but nowhere near as often as she was. Yep. Yep. I'm getting slower. My right knee's getting worse. I've backed off of doing some things at the mosque, but I'll still go do other things. And if it's something that I can do where I can sit, yeah, I'll do that. But sometimes I just have to keep moving I can't sit for a huge amount of time, just like I can't stand for a long period of time. But doctors say I need the knee surgery, but they don't want to do it. Yeah, my balance is nowhere near what it used to be. The glow stick has been going out with me even when I'm just going out to the mailbox or to take some trash to the dumpster. Oh, yeah, my mom has a huge fear of that. She uses a walker to move around her apartment because her bones are a lot weaker. Plus, she deals with the gout. She takes medicine for gout every day. So that's no fun to deal with. But she lives in a senior apartment that has elevators. Although her stamina is so lacking, even going to the mailbox is a big effort for her. At night, she uses an oxygen concentrator. So I would love to be able to get her a power station to plug that into in case there's a power outage at her complex. Because she does not have a backup tank that she could stick her hose onto. Angry Blacksmith is here. Thanks for dropping in. Actually, Cliff, that's a good idea to hold on to that because you never know when you might need it again or someone you know might need it again. So, Angry Blacksmith, this is meal 2 from this menu 9. 23-pack First Strike ration. This is a newer style packaging. So the only thing from this ration I did not eat other than the caffeinated mints, I'm holding on to those. I have the Tabasco, this, anything like that I hold on to. I did not eat the Italian sausage sandwich because it's pork sausage and I don't eat pork, so I mixed up that cheddar potato spread slash soup. I turned it into a soup instead of leaving it as a paste. I put some of the barbecue corn nuggets in there. I put some of the cracker in there, so that's why the bowl. Well, thanks for dropping in. Uh, Tell LJ hi for us. Most likely in the morning because he's probably in bed. After all, it is 9:25 Central. Yeah, I look up at my clock on the wall. It says 10:25. I'm not bothering to change that. I only change my ones that I absolutely have to. This standard time is shorter lived than what it used to be. I just don't see any need to mess with them. Now, if I have to change the battery, then I might go ahead and set it properly. But other than that, I'm just not going to bother. Well, that's okay. Others will be catching the replay as well who were not able to drop in. This is a raspberry sugar-free drink. As much as I try to avoid the fake sweeteners, I actually do like this one. These sugar-free ones do mix it a whole lot easier than the ones that are sugar-based. Nowhere near as much powder to dissolve. This one does not have a huge aftertaste like some of them do. And I mix this one strong, which I tend to do with some of these. Because that's just how I roll. But this raspberry one is a sugar-free drink that I do not mind getting once in a while. I just don't want to make a habit of drinking that stuff because I'll just say that they mess with me. And I want as little of that as possible. But this is definitely a treat to get into this. I got this off of Amazon. So you can find a few of these newer pack First Strike rations on Amazon. And that's where I also saw the Ukrainian borscht pouch. That's 400 grams of borscht in that pouch. So that is going to need a bigger bowl than this. I don't think this one could hold that much. I'll have to upsize the bowl when I get into that one. But I want to pair that with my Polish special biscuits. I think that would be a nice flavor blend. Okay, Fishy, go to bed. You're 2 hours behind me. You shouldn't be that tired. Unless you've been riding waves in the ocean all day. Yeah, Shadow's got his coffee. But the next ration I open up will most certainly have coffee in it. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, but you might get an idea of which one that is. It's one that I'm intrigued about opening. I'm happy to have it. I think it'll be an interesting ration to open up. You'll just have to see what I post up for next weekend. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and knock this back. Call that drink gone. Now, Tuesday is election day here in the U.S., so if you haven't voted yet, I plan on voting on Tuesday, on election day itself, because there are some things that I want to take care of tomorrow. I want to be here in my building in case, when the maintenance comes to deal with an issue that is not in my apartment, but one that I reported because an actual part fell out. And in order to avoid that from getting lost or thrown away, I kept that piece and I want to hand that over when the maintenance guy comes to fix that problem. And that problem is impacting everybody in the building who uses this end of the building. A door latch broke. Yeah, the pin literally fell out as I was trying to close the door. Yeah, there are some cops that had come to the building, and I wanted to, I needed to talk to them about a problem, and I'll just leave it at that. So I came back in, and that pin literally dropped, and that latch became stuck, so I put a notice on the door telling everybody to use the ramp door. We have a wheelchair ramp that goes to the first floor, so everybody who normally goes out of the only glass door that we have here using the ramp door until the door that most other people use on this end of the building till that gets fixed, and I'm hoping that'll be done tomorrow. But again, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight for this look at a 2023 First Strike ration. I hope to get a few more of these. Next year, maybe get some 24s. That would be neat. See what new items come out. I also want to try some new MCWs and new menus of the standard MREs. So anyway, again, go vote either tomorrow or Tuesday. If you're a U.S. citizen, and if you're not, vote in your own country's election next time that comes around. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and catch you on the flip side.